the #1 stock to watch at the open is Goldman. The company reportedly preparing to cut as many as 4,000 jobs. The stock is down by 1.5%. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Natarajan. Sri, what is going on with this one? Because earlier this week, I thought it had one less zero on the job cuts coming up.
What you had earlier this week, John, was plans in the consumer banking division that are already set in motion and plan to eliminate jobs there. What we're talking about now is a more firm-wide push where managers have been asked to find places where they can identify cost savings across the firm. And that is what gets you to this much bigger number of potentially Goldman Sachs cutting 4,000 jobs, or roughly 8% of its workforce, because you have a situation where the firm is not meeting its profitability target. Through the first 9 months of the year, it is lower than the revised higher target that it set earlier this year. It's even lower than its previous targets. And knowing that there is an uncertain economic environment ahead, knowing that they've already seen a slide in deal making and asset prices this year, and compounded by the mistakes they made in their consumer banking foray, Goldman is searching for costs to save, and unfortunately, that could result in a number of job cuts.
Sri, Lisa earlier this morning said there's nothing normal about anything these days, and I agree with her, and I think a lot of people do. But Sri, can you try and help me understand what is the normal, the typical amount of people that would get laid off at a firm like this one on an annual basis?
So that's the dynamic that we have to appreciate a little bit here. Unfortunately, Wall Street has this habit of what it calls an annual exercise, which weeds out underperformers. That could be as many as 5%, but over the past several years, it has come in much lower than that. And especially in the years after the pandemic, it has been a non-existent process. Goldman itself re-upped that process a few months back when it went with cuts, which were much lower than what they might have typically done. But just in the remaining few months, they've really clearly understood that that's not enough. They have to go deeper. And now the plans that they're mulling, the plans that they're weighing, is much higher than what you would see as the annual performance cut. So this is not what you would call your routine cuts.
Sri, you've touched on this morning and through your reporting over the last several months. Can you just compare and contrast Goldman with the rest of the street right now? Sri, are you expecting the same thing to take place at a Morgan Stanley, at another big investment bank on the street?
John, without a doubt, every bank out there is looking at cost. That is the big item on every CEO's mind. However, what we've seen from Goldman, or what we're hearing from Goldman, and the mood music out of that firm over the last several weeks has been a lot more cautious than anything else we've heard at a Morgan Stanley or Bank of America or JP Morgan. Yes, they're all facing challenges. Yes, they're all talking about costs. And yes, you will see job cuts there. But none of the plans that have been outlined so far seem to be as severe or as deep as what Goldman Sachs is planning. And part of that is tied to the fact that there are some unique challenges Goldman's facing, right? Even in a deal-making slide, even when asset management prices have slid, and even in an uncertain trading environment, Goldman knows that it's best back in a lot of those places, especially when it comes to investment banking, pretty good when it comes to trading. But it also had this little experiment into consumer banking that was not its forte, did not do well. It has already laid out plans to unwind that expansion, and couple that with all the technology spend and the integration costs that you've seen at the firm, you're left with a situation that is a little more distinct and separate from all their competitors.
Interesting. Sri, tremendous reporting. Brilliant. As always, buddy. Thank you.